I will call the October meeting of the Williamson County Board of Commissioners to order. Let me remind everybody during the meeting, if you will silence your phones, we would appreciate it. We want to thank Sheriff Long, as well as Captain King, Captain Elrod, Deputy Whitley, and Chief Deputy Rhodes for being with us tonight. Item 2 on the agenda, if everyone will stand for the invocation delivered by Commissioner Webb and the pledge delivered by Commissioner Williams.
Let us pray. Mighty and merciful God, we thank you each day for the blessings we have received. Lord, we ask you to lay your loving hands on the family of Lucas Davis and all of those grieving in the Brentwood community, especially those fellow students at Brentwood High School. We thank you for and ask that you be with our men and women in uniform serving us not only in this room, but also in our community and around our planet. In this threatening world, we look to you, Lord, as our rock of hope. Please hear us as we pour out our hearts to you, asking for your grace and your protection. Lord, help us do our work tonight in a spirit of wisdom, kindness, and justice, as we serve faithfully to promote the welfare of our citizens. God of all, whose love is everlasting, we pray through your Son, Jesus Christ, our Lord. Amen.
Amen.
Please join me in the pledge. I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
Item 3 on the agenda is the roll call. Press your yes button to signify your presence. And confirm. Oh, you don't? Okay. Record the roll.
We have 21 present, 3 absent. Commissioner Hudson, Commissioner Ricky Jones, and Commissioner Little absent.
I've heard from Commissioner Jones and Commissioner Little. They are both out of town. I did not hear from Commissioner Hudson. So thank you.
Yes, sir.
Next item on the agenda is approval of minutes of the regular September 10th, 2018 County Commission meeting. You were distributed copies of those. I'll entertain a motion. Chalfont and Dwight Jones. Proper motion and second. Either any comments, corrections, concerns about the minutes of the previous meeting? I see none. Ready to vote? All in favor say aye. Aye. Any opposed? Next up, we have citizen communications. We have a total time allowed of 30 minutes. Each individual speaker gets 3 minutes. We have one speaker registered tonight, Mary Beth Antunes, with a 4-H group that's here. If you would come to the podium, identify yourself, state your address.
Hi, I'm Mary Beth Antunes, and I work with the Williamson County Extension Office in the 4-H program. My home address is 1214 Cooks Court, Brentwood, and I am here tonight with a group of 4-Hers. They are all members of the 4-H Honor Club, which is a representative of all of our different groups, and so they are learning about citizenship this year in our programs, and we're doing every other month activities, and then we're going on field trips. So you are our first field trip to come and learn what the County Commission does. So last month at our meeting, we talked about County Commission. We read over your rules and duties and learned who our county commissioners are by looking at the maps and figuring out where we live and who our commissioners are. So tonight we're here for a little while to learn what you do, and thank you very much for having us.
Terrific. Thank you all for being here. 4-H is a great program. We're glad to have you. Next on the agenda, communications and messages. We do have an action item under this this agenda item. The 2018 Veterans Day holiday is on Monday, November 12th, and the county offices will be closed. Per rule number 1 of Rules and Procedure for the Board of Commissioners, the board may, by majority vote, agree to hold a scheduled meeting on the following workday after the holiday or emergency. If it is the desire of the commission to move the November commission meeting from Monday night to Tuesday night to get away from the Veterans Day holiday and the offices being closed, I'll entertain a motion to that effect. Chalfont and Williams. Proper motion second. Any comments, discussions? Anything? Ready to vote? If you're in favor of moving, yeah, we can do this by voice vote. If you're in favor of moving the November commission meeting from Monday night on Veterans Day to Tuesday night, the next night, signify by saying aye. Aye. Any opposed? Thank you. Show it unanimous. All right. We have an item on the agenda tonight that involves the management agreement, the operating agreement for the conference center. It's item number 101816 in your packet. It's been suggested that we move it forward so those representing it can take their leave and not have to stay for the full meeting. Are there any objections to moving that? First resolution under appropriations. Any objection to moving that item? I see none. We'll take up that that item as the first under resolutions. All right. Now it's time for reports from county offices. Mayor Anderson. Good.
Thank you, Mr. Chairman. First of all, I'd like to bring your attention tomorrow morning, if you're in the area or close by the area, from 7 o'clock to 9 o'clock is the annual pancake breakfast that we will be having out in the front of this complex. It's open to everyone that wants to pay $7. All the elected officials will be cooking and serving and shaking your hands, and all of the money that is raised goes towards the United Way. So if you're out tomorrow morning, 7 to 9, we would appreciate helping United Way.
Mayor, I think you wanted to thank Atmos Energy for providing the kitchen facilities for
That is
event.
correct. Atmos every single year brings their trailer that oftentimes it's taken out to the disaster areas in our community or in the immediate area that Atmos services, and they're making that available for us as they have in the past. We'd like to say thanks to Kenny Hay and Atmos team for doing that for us. Mr. Chairman, I will ask Nina Graham to come up and kind of give a snapshot of the financial pictures. There's a lot of information that should have been given to you or put at your desk talking about the financial issues that we're dealing with tonight.
Thank you, Mayor and Commission. This evening in your packets, we had several items for you. The first is the August budget report. We're tracking as we should be. I have nothing unusual to report to you at this time of the year. Also at your desk this evening should have been the education impact fee report. Total collections to date is $22.8 million. That is a cumulative total from when we first started collecting those. Also have reports from the Marriott Cool Springs Conference Center for the month of July. We did have a loss of $49,914. But then for the month of August, we did have a gain of $4,452. We did finish up last year a little over $221,000. Also is your August privilege tax report. Collections for the month of August were $1.2 million. And also in your packet this evening was a memo provided about the bond resolutions that are coming up, 10/18/22 and 10/18/23. Just tried to provide some information to you on what those resolutions will be covering. Also to provide the total outstanding debt and the total outstanding net debt. That's all the reports I have.
Any questions for Nina? Commissioner Lawrence?
Thank you, Mr. Chairman. Good evening, Nina.
Hi.
I wanted to ask you a question. I've asked you this off the record, but just for the record, you've provided us with the information tonight on how much money we have in the educational impact fee fund right now, which is $22 million. According to the numbers that you gave us here for the bonds that we'll be voting on tonight, you're reducing the amount only by $6.6 million. So we're not taking the full $22 million and using that for this bond issue. Why aren't we going to use the whole amount?
We are using the unprotested funds and taking those by calendar year. So that amount is the amount that was collected for calendar year 2017.
Okay. And this may be a question for council, but do we know where we're at on the lawsuit with the home builders right now?
That would be a council question.
Am I on?
No,
Sorry.
you gotta turn it on. Is it blinking?
Yeah.
When you start talking, I think.
Okay. Stop pushing. Now you're ready.
All right. We really have no update from the last month. We just finished up Discovery. We're still proceeding through the process. As you know, it's going to take time. Other than that, we really don't have anything to report on it.
Okay. All right, thank you, Nina.
Anything else for Nina? I see none. Thank you. Mayor.
Mr. Chairman, finally, I'll answer any questions, but I'd like to say thank you to the Sheriff, Jeff Long, for him and his men coming out tonight and doing the active training shooting the program that we had that was very enlightening for all of you that could be here. And so we'll be doing some additional work and study to see what we can do to help protect this area a little bit more. That concludes everything. I'll answer any questions, Mr. Chairman.
Anything for the mayor? See none. Thank you, Mayor. Dr. Looney, you wish to report?
Thank you, Mr. Chairman, Commissioners. It's good to see you this evening. It's been a rough day in Williamson County today, but we will get through it together. As of today, we have 40,452 students enrolled in Williamson County schools in pre-K through 12th grade. We still lack a couple of key positions to be filled due to the challenges associated with hiring highly qualified teachers in Williamson County at this point in time. I will add that had the good fortune of attending the Williamson Chamber's trip to the Washington, D.C. area. As you know, they go to different locations that are similar demographically to Williamson County for the purpose of learning about education, transportation, and managing growth. And I was pleased to learn as we visited an elementary school there called Discovery Elementary School that they spend about twice as much as we do on building schools there, and they pay their teachers a little bit more than $10,000 more per year. That completes my report. I'll be glad to answer any questions you may have.
Any questions for Dr. Looney? Don't see any. Thank you, Doctor. Any other departments wishing to report this evening? I'd like to call up the President and CEO of Williamson County Convention Visitors Bureau, Ellie Westman Chin.
Good evening. Thank you, Mr. Chairman, and thank you for allowing me a couple minutes because we have all of our numbers finally from 2017, so I always like to come and just talk those through with you a little bit. At each of your seats, I left our card here that has all the numbers on it. But just to give you a quick recap, we were really thrilled with where our numbers came in this year. In 2017, we had 1.51 million visitors to the county. That was a 6% increase over 2016. And where that lays is the national average increase was 2.6%. So we were well above national average, and we were really happy with that. That created a $452 million economic impact for the county, which was a 5.9% increase over 2016. We are still solidly number 6 of the 95 counties in visitor spending. That created 3,630 jobs for our county. And the last number on the first page, I guess, is the one that I always like to share with folks because thanks to tourism spending, in our county, every household in the county saves $516.45 a year on their taxes. So that goes right to our residents and why tourism is important for our residents. If you flip the card over to the back, we just put some information on there. One of the things that we've been doing is really increasing that interaction with our website because what we know is that if we can get people engaged in our website, we can get them to convert into trips into Williamson County. And we have worked really hard on our website to increase that engagement. And in 2016, we had 1.5 million unique visitors to our website. So that's increased quite dramatically. Our sales team was on the road quite a bit. They met with over 500 meeting and event planners, talked to them about bringing their meeting or event into Williamson County. And as you can see, our median numbers were a little nuts that year. We had 2.6 billion media impressions in fiscal year 2016-17. I will say, and I don't want to discount what our PR manager does day in, day out, because he works really hard, but 1 billion of those was Justin Timberlake playing Pilgrimage. So that's the power of the Justin Timberlake brand, is 1 billion media impressions. So I just wanted to give those numbers and let you know a little bit of what we're doing. I know we have a handful of new county commissioners. We're hopefully in touch with your office, because I'd like to just get 30 or 40 minutes with you and do a deeper dive into these numbers and how we get these numbers and so forth. So I look forward to meeting with each of you.
Any questions for Ellie? Commissioner Sturgeon.
Hi.
Hey, can you just explain what that $452 million of economic impact is?
Yeah, it's when visitors come in and all the money that they're spending in our county. There's probably a multiplier on that number. We actually get that number from the state tourism department. So that's the impact that they're making here when they're in shopping in the, in the retail outlets and eating at the restaurants and going to our attractions and staying all night in our hotels.
So that's the estimate on how much money they're spending when they're here.
Mm-hmm.
Okay.
Okay.
Thanks.
Anything else? I see none. Thank
Great.
you.
Thank you.
Any other department wishing to report? I see none. Let me remind everybody that the Rules Committee will be meeting tomorrow at 4:30. Anyone having any requests for rule changes that have not been turned in? I think we have a couple that we're going to address at the committee. If you have any thoughts on rules of the commission and how it should be run, get those in as soon as possible tomorrow so that they can be prepared for the committee tomorrow at 4:30. Moving on to election and appointments. Nothing for the mayor. County Commission has an appointment to the Agricultural Committee, 2-year term expiring October of 20, filling a vacant position. The nominee is Matt Williams. Yeah, Landry Mossbrooks. Proper motion and second. All in favor of Matt Williams as nominee to the Agricultural Committee signify by saying aye. Aye. Any opposed? Show it unanimous. All right, these are the steering committee recommendations that we have for this evening. Investment Committee, Mayor Anderson, County Mayor and Chair. Keith Hudson, Greg Lawrence, Chaz Morton, Karen Parris, Trustee. I'll entertain a motion. Proper motion and second for the Investment Committee. Any question, comment? Ready to vote? All in favor say aye. Aye. Any opposed? Unanimous. Next committee is Audit Committee. Recommendation, Sean Aiello, Judy Herbert, Tommy Little for the Audit Committee. I'll entertain a motion.
Move for approval. Second.
Who was the second over here? Matt. All right. Yep. All right. So we have a proper motion and second for the Audit Committee of Aiello, Herbert, and Little. Any question or comment? See none. All in favor say aye. Any opposed? All right. Now for the standing committees. Law Enforcement Public Safety Committee. Commissioner Jones, Aiello, Beal, Chalfant, Herbert, Nations, and Rainey. I'll entertain a motion. Lawrence Nosbrooks. Proper motion and second. Any other question or comment? Ready to vote? All in favor say aye. Aye. Any opposed? All right. Next committee is Property. Commissioner Jones, Aiello, Landrum, Morton, Story, Tunnicliffe, Webb. I'll entertain a motion.
Mr. Chairman,
I know. All right, we have a proper motion and a
No.
second to get it on the floor. Commissioner Landrum.
yes, I'd like to make an amendment on property and Robbie Beal to take my place on properties. I have a conflict on Wednesday nights. So if that would, Robbie's good, he's good there, so we'll
That's
swap,
proper
we'll swap
motion.
back somewhere else.
That's a proper motion to amend. Do I have a second? Dwight Jones. All right, we have a motion and second on the amendment to replace David Landrum on property with Robbie Beal. Any question, comment? Voting on the amendment. All in favor say aye.
Aye.
Any opposed? Amendment approved. Voting on the committee as amended. Commissioner Jones, Aiello, Beal, Morton, Story, Tunnicliffe, Webb. Ready to vote? All in favor say aye.
Aye.
Any opposed? Show it unanimous. Next item, Education Committee. Commissioners Beal, Bethard, Hester, Jones, Nations, Story, Tunnicliffe. Proper motion, Commissioner Sturgeon. Commissioner Hester, the second. Any question, comment? I see none. Ready to vote? All in favor say aye. Any opposed? Show it unanimous. Next committee, Tax Study. Commissioner Sturgeon, Bethard, Hudson, Landrum, Lawrence. I'll entertain a motion. Chad Story, motion. Sturgeon, second. Proper motion and second. Any question or comment? Ready to vote? All in favor say aye. Any opposed? Show it unanimous. Next is Public Health Committee. Commissioner Beal, Chalfant, Hester, Jones, Lawrence, Sturgeon, Webb. I didn't know whether to put him in there. All right. Sturgeon, Williams. That's a proper motion and a second.
Mr. Chairman, if
Commissioner Beal.
I could ask to be removed from Public Health and ask that Commissioner Landrum be placed in my stead.
That's a proper motion to amend. Do I have a second?
Second.
All right. So the motion to amend would remove Commissioner Beal from Public Health and replace with Commissioner Landrum. So all in favor? Any question, comment on the amendment? I see none. You ready to vote? All in favor of the amendment say aye. Aye. Any opposed? Amendment passes. Back to the main motion. Public Health Committee will now be Commissioner Landrum, Chalfant, Hester, Jones, Ricky Jones, Lawrence, Sturgeon, Paul Webb. Any question, comment? Ready to vote? All in favor say aye. Aye. Any opposed? Passes unanimously. All right. Next item, let me make the point to everyone, while we have listed the previous vice chairs of the committees, that is not legally binding. The previous vice chair does not automatically have to be the incoming or current chair for the coming year. That is up to the committee when they meet. And traditionally that's taken into account, that the vice chair would move up, but it's not legal or written in stone. So keep that in mind as you have your initial committee meetings with your new commission members. Next item on the agenda is the consent agenda. This evening we have, I believe, the notaries is what we have. I'll entertain a motion to approve. Williamson, Herbert. Proper motion and second. Any questions, concerns on the consent agenda? Do we have that voice vote? Okay. I'm going to do a voice vote. Any other questions? See none, ready to vote? All in favor say aye. Aye. Any opposed? Show it unanimous. All right. I'm not aware of any unfinished business. Let's move on to new business. Yep. We don't have any zoning items. Moving to appropriations, we moved 10-18-16 up with your approval. Submitted by the County Mayor's Office, resolution authorizing the Williamson County Mayor to approve assignment of the Joint Conference Center Operating Agreement, Catering and Reciprocal Easement Use Agreement between CH Realty 62 Franklin Cool Springs LLC and Chartwell Hospitality LLC. I'll entertain a motion.
I'll move. Second.
Webb and who's second? Shelfont. All right. All right, let's see. We have a motion and second. Property Committee? 4-4-0 against. Thank you. Budget?
4-4-0 against.
Thank you. Explanation, Commissioner Williams?
Yes, this is a resolution for Chartwell Hospitality as they are purchasing the Marriott Hotel to take over the operations portion of our conference center.
We have representatives from Chartwell here. Michael Sanders is here. Michael, if you'd like to come up and make a comment and introduce who's with you.
Thank you, Mr. Commissioner. Good evening. My name is Michael Sanders with Chartwell Hospitality. This is John Benowitz. As some of you may know, my previous employment was with the current management company of the Franklin Marriott, Davidson Hotels and Resorts, and joined Chartwell in December. And when the hotel was recently placed on the market for sale, Chartwell was very interested in purchasing the asset. We have our home office, our corporate office is located at Carruthers and Cool Springs in that vicinity. And we have 6 other operating hotels today in Williamson County, with the newest being the Hilton Franklin that just recently opened up. So this is an exciting opportunity for us and for myself to have the partnership with the city and the county and potentially be back involved in that hotel and conference center.
Any questions for Michael or our folks from Chartwell? Oh, okay. Commissioner Johnson.
Yes. Chairman for Property stated it was 4-0. It was 3-4, 1 against. Chairman, you voted against this one in committee.
I didn't vote against this one. I voted against a different resolution. The one regarding the bus DRTA.
Okay.
Commissioner Williams? Oh, okay. This is my first time. Bear with me, folks. Anything else for Michael and our folks from Chartwell? I see none. Thank you.
Thank you very much.
Any other question or comment? Ready to vote? All right. It's loaded on the board. If you're in favor of Resolution 10-18-16, vote yes. If you're opposed, vote no. Okay.
Right. Yes or no?
Okay. Just hit yes or no. Don't hit confirm now. We've changed the system. Anyone wishing to change their vote, do it now. Everybody good? Register the vote, please.
22 yes, 0 no.
Thank you. Resolution passes. Next item, Resolution 1018-1. Board of Education Resolution amending General Purpose School 2018-19 budget $56,209 for an additional nurse for Centennial High School from fund balance. Commissioner Beathard.
Move for approval.
Proper motion and second. Story. All right. Okay. Yeah. School board result was 12 yes, 0 no. Education Committee?
4 yes, 0 no.
Budget Committee?
4 yes, 0 no.
All right. Commissioner Beathard?
This is funding needed for an additional nurse at Centennial High School that will primarily be used for students with special needs.
Any questions or comments? See none, you ready to vote? All right, if you're in favor of Resolution 1018-1, press your yes button. If you're opposed, press your no button. Anyone needing to change their vote, do it now. Record the vote, please.
22 yes, 0 no.
Thank you. Next item, 1018-2. Board of Education, resolution amending General Purpose School 2018-19 budget, $38,802 for an additional secretary for Franklin High School from fund balance. Commissioner Beathard. Proper motion and second, Commissioner Jones. Motion and second, School Board, 12 yes, 0 no. Education Committee?
4 yes, 0 no.
Thank you. Budget Committee?
4 yes, 0 no.
Explanation, Commissioner Beathard.
This is for the annex at Franklin High School that was originally formerly Columbia State. It's for an additional secretary that is needed for that building.
Any question, comment? See none. You ready to vote? If you're in favor of Resolution 1018-2, press your yes button. If you're opposed, press your no button. Anyone needing to change their vote, do it now. Record the vote, please.
22 yes, 0 no.
Thank you. Next item, 1018-3, Resolution Board of Education, resolution amending General Purpose School 2018-19 budget, $121,274 for administrator for the Entrepreneurial Innovation Center from fund balance. Commissioner Beathard.
Move for approval.
Proper motion, Commissioner Jones, second. School Board, 12 yes, 0 no. Education Committee?
4 yes, 0 no.
Budget Committee?
4 yes, 0 no as amended.
And the amendment was to defer until the November commission meeting for the Budget Committee. But we have a motion on the floor for the resolution as it stands. Any question or comments? Commissioner Lawrence?
Yes, Mr. Chairman, I'd just like to know from members of the Budget Committee, I was not able to make that meeting, but why was the motion to defer or amended to defer it till November?
Commissioner Mason?
I can address that. I had made the motion to defer because the presentation made to the Budget Committee talked about the Entrepreneurial Center and how it would work within the school system. The question came up was with the $121,000 approximately for the administrator, how much more were we looking at in expenses? Were we looking at extra school resource officers expenses because of the expanded hours from 7 a.m. to 7 p.m.? Are we looking at extra staff in order to fulfill the center? And so I had asked to defer that in order to get additional numbers from Dr. Looney and the school board to know exactly what expenses are coming down the pipeline. rather than doing it piece by piece? Are we looking at $500,000 eventually? Are we looking at $1 million? Where are we looking at in terms of expenses? And so I had asked time for those numbers. Dr. Looney did provide a PowerPoint that did a very good job of explaining what the center is. I think it's a great thing for the county, but my concern was how much more are we looking at, not just this year, but in the future years.
Commissioner Story.
Yes, I took a look at the PowerPoint that was provided, and I actually had a number of questions that the PowerPoint answered. I did not see anything about transportation and things like that of potential. Is it something we want to, yes, please, Dr. Looney. If there's any transportation needs,
Thank you, Commissioner Story, for the opportunity to speak on this important topic. This is exactly why it's so important that we hire the director as soon as possible to finish putting the puzzle pieces together. Our plan is twofold. One is for students to provide their own transportation from any of the 10 high schools that we have. And then secondly, for us to use the bus drivers and our buses that are currently in operation to run a second route after they deliver their first route. So the example I would give you is from Page High School, the students would ride their regular bus in the morning to Page High School. The bus then would go from Page High School to the Entrepreneur Center and then back in the afternoon, in between the times that elementary and high schools dismiss and start.
Would there be any, so from a standpoint of, there's a lot of equipment there that we're looking to add there. I guess this part of the thing, the question is, when we have somebody come in that's fulfilling the idea, just getting a full-fledged box of what we're kind of looking at. I think that's the biggest thing that we were looking for.
Yes, sir. I'll try to speak to that. And I think we probably have gotten a little bit in the weeds. What we're really talking about doing is expanding our career technical education program, which is really relevant these days. This is a program that falls within CTE, career technical education. We already have entrepreneur programs. They're just not as relevant and meaningful to students, and therefore students are not choosing them. And as we showed you in the PowerPoint presentation, 60+% of our students indicate that they have a desire to go into an entrepreneurial field. And so what we're trying to do is give them an offering that leads up to a pathway where they can be successful post-high school. As it relates to the equipment, in the same way that we furnish the CTE programs in all of our other schools, we would use federal CTE dollars to furnish basic equipment. In addition to that, we have a panel of 18 local business entrepreneurs and officials that have been guiding our work in the planning stages, and they have committed to raising $2 million to help furnish the facility and also to provide some seed money for an endowment to keep the Entrepreneur Center moving forward.
One last question. Are we entertaining any type of fees for the program, or is this purely a school board fund?
So there very well might be fees for any program activity that's happening after school. Certainly during the day, we wouldn't be charging fees to students because it would be just simply a career technical education program. As you may remember from the presentation, we're talking about 4 different types of students going to the center. The first category or class of students would be the traditional career technical education student that's going to the center to get career technical education coursework, high school credits. Student category number 1. Student category number 2 would be students that are taking CTE and or dual enrollment at the same time. Not only are they earning high school credits, but they're earning college credits at the same time. The mechatronics program at Fairview is a good example of that, where kids are going to high school, getting a high school degree, a diploma, and an associate's degree at the same time. So expanding that to the Franklin High School Entrepreneur Innovation Center. The third category of student would be what we are calling a consulting student. The best example I could give you of that is if a student is an awesome photographer and has a really good skill set, it could be that they provide consulting services to a team of students that go to the Entrepreneur Center for the purpose of developing professional grade photography for them to sell or market or design their program. And then the fourth category of students are the category of students that I probably would have fallen in, and that is the students that just like to work with their hands. They're not there for credit, but they want to operate a lathe, or they want to learn how to do a 3D print job, or they want to be a web designer. They're just looking to fill a desire that they have, and there is no other place in Williamson County where a student can go, get a saw out and make something because they have an interest in it. So we're focused on balancing academics, arts, and athletics, but part of the academic picture, and I've said this before, I truly believe that CTE is the golden goose for the next decade in public education because there's such a need for skilled workers everywhere. And the truth of it is we're not fulfilling that need. And so it's these types of centers that are going to give the students that we serve the opportunity to get their hands dirty and tinker around and learn skills that they otherwise aren't learning.
Commissioner Story, is that you good?
Thank you. Thank you, Dr. Lynn.
Yes, sir.
Commissioner Sturgeon.
The PowerPoint presentation, is it available to all of us?
Yes, ma'am. I sent it to Diane. I believe it was emailed to everybody.
All right. Thank you.
Commissioner Ayala.
This program with the proposed director, do other CTE programs have similar directors in place, or just kind of a new infrastructure in place for this program?
So I'm really glad that you asked that. The answer is no, and here's why. There's a principal in each of our high schools that does that. This is so if you just think back to 20 years ago, we used to have career technical education centers where students would go and that was a center. So we're talking about recreating that, and here's why. We've learned that we can't sustain programs because of lack of interest at a single school. But if we make it available to students from all of our schools and get them there, then we'll have enough students to participate. So the best example I can give you of that is we used to have diesel mechanic program. Well, we only had 20 or 30 kids that were interested in that at that school, and so we had to cancel the program because we couldn't afford to pay the teacher for that number of students. This allows us to bring students from all across the county to sustain those type of programs. So that's why this center would be unique in that it's kind of like a high school. We're expecting it to serve up to 1,000 students, and there needs to be one responsible administrator that has a skill set both in academic world but also as an entrepreneur.
Commissioner, did that get you?
And I had one follow-up question. It sounds like some of the things you were describing that this program would handle sounds a little bit like the arts, as far as set construction, building, things like that. Is there a way to involve that as well, or are you purely considering this to be more career-oriented?
So I think building sets is a form of entrepreneurship. Absolutely, I think that would be appropriate, but so too would web design. So too would be, I want to get into the birdhouse marketing business, and I want to design and build small birdhouses and sell them at the Franklin Fair or downtown Franklin. And so they would have the resources and necessary to build mock-ups, to work with marketing experts in our community, to go to the financing program, figure out how you might finance the raw materials, to test market them, and actually build prototypes of those birdhouses before they went to market.
Commissioner Landrum.
Yes, Dr. Looney. Am I on? Okay.
Yeah.
Just a quick question. If this resolution were to pass, what is the time frame to hire this person?
Well,
I mean, how long does that process you normally take?
Well, thank you. I think it's probably a 60-day process. Probably a 60-day process on average. I think the unique challenge here is we're not looking for just a school administrator. We're not looking for someone that's a high school principal that has a high school principal background. It has to be somebody that understands the business community and the school community together. So I honestly think it's going to be more about recruiting the right person rather than just posting a position and hoping somebody's going to walk in the door.
Oh, thank you.
Commissioner Hester.
Thank you, Mr. Chairman. I think that this has the potential to be a wonderful program, and
Yes,
I
ma'am.
was glad to get to hear about it when you presented it at the Chamber of Commerce meeting. My concerns are, again, the costs. I would like to see more in direct involvement up front from the Williamson County Education Foundation and from the private sector. And my question is, how many students now are currently at the annex who are enrolled
We currently
there?
serve 400 students on half of the building. You'll remember when you turn the building back over to us, the building is divided in half. The first half, which is in use now, is serving approximately 400 additional Franklin High School students. Those are traditional classrooms being used for traditional instruction. The half that has not been updated or converted is the space that we're talking about. It's the old ag space or high bay area that is currently not being used at Franklin High School. Ironically enough, you have already approved for us to proceed with construction on the second half of the building. That's expected to go bid on October 24th. And so I guess the unusual situation that we find ourselves in is the 18 men and women from the business community that have been advising us have advised us, and my staff agrees with this. It took me a while to come around to this, that the person that is going to be operating the center needs to have a voice in that process. Otherwise, we build something without that input, and we don't want to build something unless it's exactly what we need. We think we know what we need. Right. We've been getting advice of what we need, but we need that expert to help guide us. And so I don't want to get the cart before the horse, which is quite frankly why we're asking you for the position now, so that that person can have a voice in the final design and construction process.
Mr. Herbert.
Dr. Looney, this program sounds great, but as always, it costs a lot of money. You know, in the paper it's been that you're requesting more money for the teachers, but also we barely were able to pass the budget year this year for the schools. And for the new commissioners, so they understand, when you're passing this, you're passing a tax increase is what you're doing. It's not just money out there. The revenue, it's coming from increased taxes, and it's besides the money for the director of it, you've got teachers, you've got a secretary, you've got an SRO, you've got other teachers, you've got the building renovations, so you're talking millions. So for every million, it's a penny you got to raise in everybody's taxes, and I feel like this sounds like a great program, but I don't feel like this is something that we should. It's like a bonus thing. I don't feel like we should ask the taxpayers to have to pay for this. There are a lot of people out there that don't have children in school, homeschool, or their kids are grown. I just feel like this is something a little extravagant to ask for.
Yes, ma'am. Can I respond?
Maybe.
I won't unless you ask me to.
Yes, you can.
Thank you for your input, and I value you and have so much respect for you. I think this is exactly what we should be doing. When I go to trips like we went on this last week with the chamber, and when I talk to the business community, I invariably hear that we're not producing the workforce that local businesses need here in Williamson County, that a lot of our students are leaving and moving elsewhere, notwithstanding the kids that are going to the University of Alabama for schooling, or Knoxville, wherever they're going. But for those kids that want to enter the workforce, and so that's exactly why we need career technical education in Williamson County schools, and this just happens to be a program that would be attractive to students. As it relates to cost, we're going to serve 1,000 students there. The cost per student is going to be about the same cost per student that we currently have at Renaissance High School, and it's going to be lower than our traditional high school. This, in combination with us expanding our high school capacity to 2,200 students, will avoid us building another high school in Williamson County for at least 3 or 4 more years. So at the end of the day, what appears to be an increase in cost really is no different than what we're already doing, and it actually saves in the long run because we don't have to build another high school quite as quickly.
Commissioner Jones.
Could I respond to that first? Can I respond?
Commissioner.
Dr. Looney, I guess maybe I'm a little confused. It's my understanding this is more to help young adults go into business on their own. It's not like to go out there and learn how to do plumbing and electrical, but how to manage the business. Is that not correct?
Well, no, it's both. And so you happen to choose plumbing. It could be that a student wants to open their own plumbing business. So they would go there with that idea and learn about the processes of opening their own plumbing business. Now, I will tell you, I don't know that we're going to be teaching plumbing there. It could be if we have enough students interested in plumbing from across the district. The reason we can't have a plumbing quote-unquote program at any one of our high schools is there's not enough students at one single high school to justify the teaching unit. The beauty of us doing a center is that we get synergy from students all across the district going to one place. We would only offer programs that the students are interested in. What we know from our data is this: the students are interested in entrepreneurship more so than plumbing. That's where the demand is, and that's what our business community is telling us, where the skill set is needed.
Commissioner Jones.
So, you've told us a lot about money there. What's the operating cost on this unit gonna cost us? We talk a lot about budgets and what it costs to bricks and mortar. What operating cost, year in, year out, what's it gonna cost us roughly? I know you don't have, I know you don't have an exact number.
I honestly couldn't give you an accurate number tonight, so I'd be glad to follow up with you and to the entire commission. I will say this: I have every reason to believe that the operating costs would be no different here than would be at Renaissance High School. And Renaissance High School serves 150 students.
But do we not have to have Renaissance High School?
I'm using that as an example.
But do we not have to have it?
Yes, sir.
Okay, so do we have to have it?
Well, let me rephrase that. The answer is we don't have to have it. There's no law that we have it.
We've got to do something with the kids.
What we're doing is we're serving kids that have a specific interest in a smaller school, and this does the same thing. But
Everybody's already. Okay. Commissioner Williams.
Oh, yes, Dr. Looney.
Yes, sir.
Obviously, I think we talked about in budget.
Yes.
Y'all are passionate about this, and I think for the most part, I think we are too. We want to be. It's kind of still Commissioner Mason's words from budget. You know, ultimately, I think at the end of the day, at the budget, we asked to defer this to November because we know that there's a bigger cost picture that we hadn't quite captured in terms of what's the SRO going to cost, what's the operating cost. I think if we can push this till November and get that full picture, I think you'll have a lot of support from here. I mean, the commission's already funded the construction of the facility. We've gotten behind, you know, the general idea of it. We're just asking for some specifics, and I think ideally, I know I will be supporting it in the future. We're just asking for those details.
Yes, sir. I respect that, and it's certainly your decision. I'm just fighting the good fight as I'm supposed to.
Understood.
Anyone who has not spoken to this wish to speak? Commissioner Story was first.
Well, I've already spoke. So was Greg.
Yeah, both of you have, so you were next. All right, Commissioner Lawrence.
We're going to let them both speak.
So,
Go ahead.
Okay, thank you, Mr. Chairman. Good evening, Dr. Looney.
Good evening, sir.
I just want to make sure I understand, in my mind, how the students are going to interact with this school and the regular school. So, you know, you've got the science, math, English, the other things that we expect most students to learn in school. I guess you would call it, as in your words, traditional schooling. So at what point would they go into this school? I mean, were they going to go in as a freshman, sophomore, junior, senior? And when they go into this school, how are they going to be able to cover their other courses in the traditional the traditional tuition that they normally have to complete in addition to this school?
It's a great question. Tennessee law requires that a student choose a focus area in high school. They have to either focus on college prep or career technical education or some combination thereof. So this process would be no different. They would still take their Algebra 1 and Algebra 2 in geometry. They might take it in the morning before the bus leaves or in the afternoon before they go home, back to their home school. It might be that we offer some of the coursework at the school depending on the number of students. The wonderful thing about this type of program, and it's true of all of our career technical programs, it's based on student interest. So the only reason there would be a teacher there offering a course is if there's enough students that generate interest in the program area to go there. So it could be changing over time. But the students will be required, just as they always have been, the same way that we were back when we went to Career Tech Centers. We take some of our coursework at our home school and some of our coursework at the CTE Center. So no different here. And it's actually required by Tennessee law.
Okay, so I was at the chamber meeting maybe last month, when you talked about the fact that you're getting into virtual schools more, or you're trying to expand the virtual school options. Would that be something that you would look to use in conjunction with this school?
It certainly would be used in conjunction with this school, but it would be the virtual school, another topic, but just as important. It would be used for any student that has an interest in taking courses virtually or not. Whether it's a CTE student going to the center, whether it's a CTE student remaining at Fairview High School to take mechatronics, whether it's a CTE student going to Nolensville High School to take unmanned aerial systems, whether it's a CTE student going to Page High School to take ag science, horticulture, it doesn't matter. The virtual schooling option would still be available to all of our students, not just specifically the students at the center. But it certainly would be amongst the menu choices that they have to get their needs met.
You good,
Okay.
Commissioner Lawrence?
Yes, thank you, Mr. Chairman.
Commissioner Luthers has not spoken on this. I'll recognize her first, then come back to Commissioner Story.
Thank you, Mr. Chairman. I just want to thank you, Dr. Looney, because I do think this is a good direction to go for our county, having a student just graduated from high school in our system. I know that kids come in all shapes and sizes, and I think we're moving in the right direction.
Thank you.
I will say, just in reference to my colleagues on Budget Committee, if it's not anything that's going to make or break you for a month, I think that all of us could feel a little bit more comfortable for just understanding the long-term sustainability
Yes, ma'am.
of the program. So can I make a motion to defer by a month? Or we have a motion on the floor that needs to be taken care of first. Is that correct? Can I amend the motion?
Amend it.
You can't speak and then make a motion to.
Okay, so I'm just said my two-piece and I'm out.
All right. Commissioner
Thank you.
Story?
Real quick, so from a expansion standpoint of Franklin High School, is there any more room for Franklin to expand if needed outside of this? Taking that the Columbia State space, making it that, is there any additional room to expand Franklin if needed?
So part of the renovations include some additional space for quote-unquote Franklin High School's exclusive use in the Phase 2 part of the building. That includes kind of a multi-use space, which could be for athletics, break, etc. There's some locker/dressing room space that we're converting. The dance hall that was at Columbia State is going to remain in place with some upgrades that would be specifically for Franklin High School. So the Phase 2 part of the work includes some space that's exclusive to Franklin High School and the center.
And so that's perfect. And I saw the positions already posted. Have we had any interest yet?
Yes, sir. We have some. We haven't interviewed anybody or even talked to anybody, but we have a couple people that have expressed interest by applying.
Yeah, thank you, sir.
Commissioner Mason?
Thank you. I would, with all due respect, ask at this time that the motion be placed on the floor. I would make the motion to defer the vote until next month so we can have those figures with more of a financial breakdown as to what we're looking for, not only for this fiscal year, but for the next fiscal years going forward.
Proper motion, Commissioner Mason, second Commissioner Jones. All right. No debate on motion to defer to the next county commission meeting in November.
Correct.
That is the motion to defer. By voice vote, all in favor of the motion? Or are we going to do it? We're going to load it? Okay. All right. You want to? Are we putting it up there?
It's up there.
Oh, okay. I'm not seeing anything. All right, if you're in favor of the motion to defer the item to the November County Commission meeting, vote yes. If you're against, press your no button. Looks like we're all good. Anyone wishing to change their vote, do so at this time. Record the vote, please.
18 yes, 4 no.
All right, thank you. Resolution 1018-4. Board of Education resolution of the Williamson County Board of County Commissioners approval of an intent to fund of up to $14 million for construction and equipping of Central East Elementary School. Commissioner Beathard.
Move for approval.
Proper motion. Second, Brooks. School Board, 12 yes, 0 no. Education.
5 yes, 0 no.
Budget.
4 yes, 0 no.
All right. Explanation, Commissioner Beathard.
This is money needed to get the construction started for the new Central East Elementary School.
Any question, comment? I see none. You ready to vote? All in favor of Resolution 1018-4, press your yes button. Any opposed, press no. Looks like, are we good? Anyone wishing to change their vote, do so at this time. Record the vote, please.
22 yes, 0 no.
All right, thank you. Next item, 1018-5. Board of Education resolution of the Williamson County Board of Commissioners, approval of intent to fund of $7,324,000 for improvements, new construction, and equipping in addition for Independence High School. Commissioner Beathard.
Move for approval.
Second.
Brooks, second. Thank you. Proper motion and second. School Board, 12 yes, 0 no. Education.
5 yes, 0 no.
Thank you. Budget.
4 yes, 0 no.
Explanation, Commissioner Beathard.
Similar to the last resolution, this is to begin the work of the new addition at Independence High School.
Any questions, comments? Commissioner Herbert.
Dr. Looney.
Dr. Looney, please.
This will be easy. I won't be too rough on you. How many additional students will this serve with this addition?
I believe the number is about 550 students.
500.
It's going to create 22 different classrooms and a great CTE space.
Thank you.
Anything else, Commissioner? All right. Any other question or comment? I see none. You ready to vote? All in favor of Resolution 1018-5, press your yes button. Any opposed, press no. Looks like we're good. Anyone wishing to change their vote, do it now. Record the vote, please.
22 yes, 0 no.
All right, thank you. All right. Yeah. Next item, Resolution 1018-6 from the Board of Education. Resolution requesting an intent to fund in the amount of up to $7,300,000 for the Williamson County Board of Education for the purpose of funding Phase 2 of an ESCO agreement for replacement of certain assets. I'll entertain a motion.
Move for approval.
Proper motion, second, Commissioner Jones. School Board, 12 yes, 0 no. Education.
5 yes, 0 no.
Budget.
4 yes, 0 no.
Thank you. Commissioner Beathard.
Yeah, this is just a continuation of the ESCO agreement we already have in place, whereby if the county does not see a savings, the partnering company pays the difference. This has to do with the energy savings that comes from the light bulbs and the HVAC controls that that they are monitoring for us.
Any question or comment? Commissioner Story.
Quick point, and based on the conversation we had with the, this is information for the commission, the savings we've had is based on what they had said, the analysis is paying more than the bond issue that's been put out there. So we're saving more than it's costing us for this program so far, which is actually a pretty good deal. So, thank you.
You think? All right. Any other question or comment? I see none. Commissioner Sturgeon.
I just want to make sure I understand. The way I read it, the money we're saving on utilities for this ESCO agreement is going to pay our debt service, right?
Well, that's the word you did.
And if we can't pay the debt service on the $7,300,000, then train will make up the difference. Is that correct? Oh, okay, thank you. Thank you.
Anything further? Any other question? I see none. Ready to vote? All in favor of Resolution 1018-6? Pardon me. Press your yes button. Any opposed, press your no button. Looks like we're good. Anyone wishing to change their vote, do it now. Record the vote, please.
22 yes, 0 no.
Thank you. Next item, Resolution 1018-8. Resolution appropriating and amending the 2018-19 county general budget by $350,276 for startup, operating, salary, and benefits cost for the merger of the City of Spring Hill Emergency Communications Department, revenues to come from unappropriated county general funds, and contributions from the Emergency Communications District. Commissioner Beal.
Move for approval.
Proper motion, Commissioner Jones, the second. HR Committee. Human Resource, who's?
4-0 against.
All right. Law Enforcement.
4-0 against.
Budget.
4 yes, 0 against.
All right, thank you. Commissioner Beal.
Currently, Spring Hill operates their own emergency communications center. This is a request to merge it with Williamson County. If you'll note that the actual money from the county general funds is $22,876. The remainder of the $350,000 is coming from state grant, or the civil defense reimbursement, I believe is what it's called.
Any question or comment? I see none. You ready to vote? All in favor of 1018-8, press your yes button. Any opposed, press your no button. We're good. Anyone needing to change their vote, do it now. Record the vote.
22 yes, 0 no.
Thank you. Next item, 1018-9. DUI Court, resolution appropriating and amending the 2018-19 Williamson County General Sessions DUI Court budget by $388,004 for the DUI Court Substance Abuse and Mental Health Services Grant, revenues to come from federal grant funds. Mr. Beal.
Move for approval.
Chalfont, second. Proper motion and second. Law Enforcement.
4-0 against.
Budget.
4 yes, 0 no.
Commissioner Beal, explanation.
This is the DUI court administered by our General Sessions Court. Judge Andre is here as well. The request is to apply federal grant funds in the amount of $388,004 to operate that program. As a testament to the success of the program, those funds are, that's a significant amount of funds that Judge Andre was able to obtain for the county.
Thank you, Commissioner. Any question, comment? I see none. All in favor of 1018-9, press your yes button. Any opposed, press your no button. Looks like we're good. Anyone needing to change their vote, do it now. Record the vote.
22 yes, 0 no.
Thank you. Resolution 1018-10, Sheriff's Office. Resolution appropriating and amending the 2018-19 Williamson County Sheriff's Office budget by $6,433.01. Revenue to come from unappropriated county general funds. Commissioner Beal.
Move for approval.
Commissioner Jones, proper motion and second. Law Enforcement.
4-0 against.
Budget.
4 yes, 0 no.
All right, explanation, Commissioner Beal.
These are private funds raised to assist the Sheriff's Department, more importantly, or specifically, for protective vest for canines, and then food and long-term care for the retired canines
Thank you, Commissioner. Any other question or comment? I see none. You ready to vote? All in favor of 10-18-10, press your yes button. Any opposed, press no. Getting there. Looks like we're good. Anyone needing to change their vote, do it now. Record the vote.
22 yes, 0 no.
Thank you. Item 10-18-11. Sheriff's Office Resolution appropriating and amending 2018-19 Williamson County Sheriff's Office budget, $64,052. Revenues from seized funds resulting from a joint drug investigation with Murray County, Tennessee. Commissioner Beal.
Move for approval.
Commissioner Jones is second. Law enforcement.
4 0 against.
Budget.
4 yes, 0 no.
Thank you. Commissioner Beal.
This is a request by the Sheriff's Department merely to pull the funds of $64,052 into their budget because these were seized funds between them and Murray County. The court ordered that the funds be distributed, but I don't believe designated Williamson County Sheriff's Department as the recipient, so this is correcting that.
Thank you, Commissioner. Any other question or comment? I see none. You ready to vote? All those in favor of Resolution 10-18-11, press your yes button. Any opposed, press no. I think we're good. Anyone needing to change their vote, do it now. Record the vote.
22 yes, 0 no.
Thank you. Next item, Resolution 10-18-15, Sheriff's Office. Resolution appropriating and amending the 2018-19 Williamson County Sheriff's Office budget by $9,408.22. Revenues from the sale of a confiscated vehicle in accordance with the final offer. Commissioner Beal.
Move for approval.
Commissioner Jones is second. Law enforcement.
4 0 against.
Budget Committee.
4 yes, 0 no.
Thank you. Commissioner Beal.
Just what the title implies, the Sheriff's Department confiscated a vehicle, and they're requesting that $9,408.22 be placed in their budget.
Thank you, Commissioner. Any question or comment? I see none. Ready to vote? All in favor of 10-18-15, press your yes button. Any opposed, press no. Oh, okay. Looks like we're good. Anyone wishing to change their vote, do it now. All right, record the vote.
22 yes, 0 no.
Thank you. Resolution passes. Next item is Resolution 10-18-20. Resolution appropriating and amending the 2018-19 Election Commission budget by $124,000. Revenues to come from county general fund balance. Commissioner Williams.
Motion to approve.
Proper motion. Commissioner Jones, second. Budget Committee.
4 yes, 0 no.
All right. Explanation, Commissioner Williams.
This is just a resolution that funds the upcoming November elections.
Any other question or comment? I see none. You ready to vote? All in favor of Resolution 10-18-20, press your yes button. Any opposed, press no. Looks like we're good. Anyone wishing to change their vote, do it now. Record the vote.
22 yes, 0 no.
Thank you. Resolution passes. Resolution 10-18-21, resolution appropriating and amending the 2018-19 library budget by $37,473.03. Revenues to come from donations, contributions, and fines.
Move for approval.
Proper motion and second. Library Board, 5 yes, 0 no. I'm sorry, Commissioner Webb.
That's fine.
Budget Committee.
4 yes, 0 no.
Commissioner Williams.
Yes, this is just a resolution accepting donations for the library.
Any question or comment? I see none. You ready to vote? Anyone, all in favor of 1018-21, press your yes button. Any opposed, press your no button. All right, we're good. Anyone wishing to change their vote, do so now. Record the vote, please.
22 yes, 0 no.
Thank you. Resolution passes. Next item, Resolution 1018-22. Resolution authorizing the issuance, sale, and payment of not to exceed $49 million of county district school bonds of Williamson County, Tennessee, providing for the levy of taxes for the payment of debt service on the bonds, and allocating educational impact fee collections to defray public improvement expenses. Commissioner Williams.
Motion to approve. Second.
Proper motion, second. Commissioner Jones. Let's see. Let me get down to the Education Committee.
5 yes, 0 no.
Budget.
4 yes, 0 no.
All right. Explanation, Commissioner Williams.
Yes, this is a resolution for the intent to fund the rural debt service portion of the bond issue. It includes what's already been budgeted for, plus the the bond issues for October for this month.
Any question or comment? I see none. You ready to vote? All in favor of Resolution 1018-22, press your yes button. Any opposed, press no. We're good. Anyone wishing to change their vote, do so now. Record the vote, please.
21 yes, 0 no.
Okay. Resolution passes. Thank you. Next item, Resolution 1018-23. Resolution authorizing the issuance, sale, and payment of not to exceed $92,350,000 of general obligation, public improvement, and school bonds of Williamson County, Tennessee, providing for the levy of taxes for the payment of debt service on the bonds, authorizing an interlocal agreement between the county and Williamson Medical Center to provide for the payment by the Williamson Medical Center of a portion of the bonds, and allocating educational impact fee collections to defray public improvement expenses. Commissioner Williams.
Motion to approve.
Second.
Proper motion and second. Commissioner Osbrooks, the second. Education Committee.
5 yes, 0 no.
Budget.
4 yes, 0 no.
Thank you. Explanation, Commissioner Williams.
Yes, this is a resolution for the general debt portion of the bond issue. It is covering previous budgeted expenditures for the bond issue, as well as the 3 intent funds passed tonight.
Thank you. Any question or comment? I see none. Ready to vote? All right. All in favor of Resolution 1018-23, press your yes button. Any opposed, press your no button. Looks like we're good. Anyone wishing to change their vote, do it now. All right, record the vote, please.
22 yes, 0 no.
Thank you. Resolution passes. Next item on the agenda, Office of Public Safety, Resolution 1018-7. Resolution authorizing the Williamson County Mayor to enter into an interlocal agreement with the City of Spring Hill and the Williamson County Emergency Communications District for the merger of Emergency Communications Dispatch. Commissioner Beal.
Move for approval.
Second.
Commissioner Osbrooks, a second. Thank you. We have a motion and a second. Law enforcement.
4-0 against.
Human resources.
4-0 against.
Budget.
4 yes, 0 no.
Thank you. Commissioner Beal, explanation.
This goes back to the previous resolution discussed, 1018-8, where City of Spring Hill is operating their own emergency communications, and we're wanting to merge. This gives the county mayor the opportunity to enter into an agreement with them.
Any question or comment? Don't see any. Ready to vote? All those in favor of Resolution 1018-7, press your yes button. Any opposed, press your no button. Looks like we're good. Anyone wishing to change their vote, do so now. Record the vote, please.
22 yes, 0 no.
Thank you. Resolution passes. Next item, Resolution 1018-12. Resolution to adopt the amended Williamson County Multi-Hazard Mitigation Plan, authorizing the county mayor to sign the letter agreement. Commissioner Beal.
Move for approval.
Proper motion, Commissioner Jones, second. Law enforcement.
4 0 against.
Budget.
That is 4-0 against.
All right, thank you. Commissioner Beal, explain.
In order to receive federal grants, the county is required to adopt a multi-hazard mitigation plan. It's required to be updated every 5 years. This is giving the county mayor the authorization to sign the letter agreement. I think the last one we did was 2007, I think.
Thank you. Any question or comment? I see none. You ready to vote? All those in favor of Resolution 1018-12, press your yes button. All opposed, press no. Looks like we're good. Anyone wishing to change their vote, do so now. Record the vote, please.
22 yes, 0 no.
Thank you. Resolution passes. Next item, Resolution 1018-13. Resolution authorizing the Williamson County Mayor to enter into a long-term ground lease agreement and easement with Catherine Jones Fox for the placement of a telecommunications tower. Commissioner Beal.
Move for approval.
Proper motion and second by Commissioner Jones. Law enforcement.
4 0 against.
Budget committee.
4 yes, 0 no.
Thank you. Commissioner Beal, explain.
We've had several of these. These are where we're building the telecommunication towers to expand the county's emergency communication abilities so there's no dead zones without service. And this is a request to enter a lease and an easement agreement with a private citizen. Originally, the tower was to be located somewhere else. It was cost prohibitive. So they've requested to enter this agreement with Ms. Fox.
Thank you, Commissioner. Any question or comment? I see none. You ready to vote? All in favor of Resolution 1018-13, press your yes button. Any opposed, press no. Looks like we're good. Anyone wishing to change your vote, do so at this time. Record the vote, please.
22 yes, 0 no.
Thank you. Resolution passes. Next item, Resolution 1018-14, Sheriff's Department. Resolution authorizing the Williamson County Mayor to execute an agreement on behalf of the Williamson County Sheriff's Office with the United States Department of Justice, Drug Enforcement Administration, DEA, for the temporary transfer of a law enforcement drug task force officer. Commissioner Beal.
Move for approval.
Commissioner Jones, a second. Thank you. Law enforcement.
4 0 against.
Budget.
4 yes, 0 no.
Thank you. Commissioner Beal, explain.
The Sheriff's Department has regularly provided a deputy or drug enforcement agent to the Department of Justice, the DEA, the Drug Enforcement Administration. The appointment of this officer, this deputy, is for a period of 2 years. And this allows the mayor to execute that agreement with the DEA.
Thank you, Commissioner. Any question or comment? I see none. Ready to vote? All in favor of 1018-14, press your yes button. Any opposed, press your no button. Looks like we're good. Anyone wishing to change your vote, do it at this time. Record the vote, please.
22 yes, 0 no.
Thank you. Resolution passes. Next item, Resolution 1018-17, County Health Department. Resolution authorizing Williamson County Mayor to execute a license agreement with Guidance Center to provide space at the Williamson County Health Department facility located in Fairview. Commissioner Williams.
Motion to approve.
Proper motion, Commissioner Jones, second. What? Oh. I'm loud anyway. Property Committee?
440 against.
440 against. Public Health? Beth, was that? No, that wasn't,
No.
We did vote on it. Yeah, we did. I think it.
5-4 against.
Yeah, I think that's right. Budget? Budget Committee? Commissioner
That's
Williams?
4-0 against.
Okay. Let's see, get back on track here. Commissioner Williams, explain.
Yes, this just allows the mayor to execute a license agreement for space in the Fairview Clinic.
Any question or comment? See none. Ready to vote? All in favor of 1018-17, press your yes button. Any opposed, press no. Anyone wishing to change their vote, do it now. Record the vote, please.
22 yes, 0 no.
Thank you. Resolution passes. Let's see. Resolution 1018-18. Resolution authorizing the Williamson County Mayor to execute an agreement to purchase unimproved property located at 4684 Bethesda Road, Thompson Station, Tennessee, for the future construction of a community center. Commissioner Williams.
Motion to approve.
Proper motion, second Commissioner Herbert. Did property get this?
It was 440 against.
Thank you. Did Parks and Rec? Who's got Parks and Rec?
It was unanimous, Parks and Rec.
It was either 5 or 4. 0
The
against.
new chairman is.
Yeah, okay.
It's the new
The
committee.
chairman is Brian Beth.
That's why I said either 5 or 4 and then 0 against.
All right, Budget Committee.
4-0 against.
Thank you. Commissioner Williams, explain.
Yes, this is a resolution to purchase land
Yeah.
for the community center located in the Bethesda community.
All right. I believe we have, okay. Commissioner Herbert.
I'd like to propose an amendment to Resolution Number 101818, amend to include authorization for the county mayor to execute all documents needed to purchase of additional property from James H. Dotson and Myrtle F. Dotson, consisting of approximately 18.5 acres, map 155, parcel 015, at a sales price of $740,000.
Proper motion for the amendment.
Second.
Who had the second? Commissioner Story had the second. All right. Oh, Commissioner Jones, sorry. See, this isn't as easy as it. All right, discussion on the amendment.
Oh, do you want me to talk? Or-
Mayor Anderson, would you
Yeah.
address this? Thank
I'll let you, since you were.
Late this afternoon, we had a conversation with the owners of this property, which is where the 4684 you're voting on. She has offered us this additional 18 acres adjacent to this. In talking to Kevin Benson, our property manager, this would be an ideal place, along with Gordon Hampton, to continue our general theme out there, the construction of a community center, ball field, library. We've been looking for a site out in the Bethesda area for the better part of 10+ years, trying to find a location in which we could locate those particular services that we have. Many of you have been out to the Bethesda area. It's the last of the community centers that we've been addressing for that community. We're most appreciative of the family for wanting to do this and wanting to help us out. I'll answer any questions, Mr. Chairman.
Thank you. Commissioner Mason?
I have two questions. Number one, is the 18.5 acres in addition to the original resolution?
Yes, ma'am.
And how many acres is the original resolution?
Approximately 25 acres, is that right?
All right.
25.
And is the sale price of $740,000, is that considered under market, over market, right at market? Do we
Well,
know
I'd
where
hate
we're
to
at?
answer that on television, but it's under what we feel like that the market would bear. It figures out to be about $40,000 an acre. In Brentwood and Cool Springs, that'd be a heck of a buy. In the rural area, it's kind of consistent. We're on septic tank out there. That's the difference.
Any other question or comment? Commissioner Hester?
Thank you, Mr. Chairman. Thank you, Mr. Mayor. I just wanted to say that this property here will benefit a greatly expanding area in the south part of our county. Thompson Station is growing by leaps and bounds, and the fields that are possible to have located in this area, not only will it benefit the Bethesda area, but also Thompson Station and very possibly Spring Hill. Thank you.
Good comment.
Anything further? Commissioner Sturgeon?
Thank you, Mr. Chairman. I'm just curious, we were questioning whether it's worth putting money into a career training center in Franklin High School because it could increase our taxes by a penny. How is this different? I mean, this is also going to create a tax increase, correct?
I think anything we do to help the Bethesda community, which has been waiting very patiently over the last 10 commissioners, just like we're doing at Grassland Middle School for your district for a theater and a community that. But I'm not ready to make that statement. Whether we're going to have a tax increase or not, that'll have to go through the budget. But this is built into the bonds and it's adjacent property.
Right. Well, I voted for it when it was 25 acres. I'm just a little concerned if we expand it by more than 50%, that's going to make the overall project cost go up by 50%. So do we have any idea what the projected estimated project cost is going to be after we've bought the land?
As of late this afternoon at 4 o'clock when Diane was putting this together, I don't have that. I can tell you what we have done to date. We will expand the ball fields as they are needed. We're not doing away with any of the ball fields in Bethesda. We've just got such a need for them, and the community center and the library. I would hope that all of you have an opportunity to go see this library out in Bethesda. It's not anyone we'd be too proud of, but it's what we've got.
Okay, thank you.
Any other question or comment? On the amendment? Commissioner Hester already spoken. Anyone who's not spoken wish to make a question or comment? Commissioner Leathers?
Yes, thank you, Mr. Chairman. I'm wondering, is anybody from Parks and Recreation here? Terrific.
Gordon.
I'm sorry, Gordon. Can you kind of explain?
Gordon, can you come up, please?
Thank you so much. I think what might help other commissioners to wrap their brains around it. If you could describe the property as you did so well to us, this adjacent property, in acquiring it, could it be also used for trails or passive parks? Or can you give us an idea of what the benefit will be of this increase in property adjacent to the existing one that we've already recommended?
Yes, thank you for giving me a chance to speak to this, Commissioner. The additional 18 acres that is adjacent to the original 25.78 will allow us to address some of the needs Commissioner Hester mentioned in regards to providing more services to the south end of the county. It's not going to
greatly increase the amount of money that we would have budgeted for the original development of the 25, because it actually will save us money. This additional property will mean that we do not have to build a bridge where we were going to have to construct a bridge to get to the property. This allows us better access from Bethesda Road. The other thing that it will allow us to do is to increase the number of soccer fields. When Mayor Anderson was talking about ball fields, we're not going to build more baseball or softball fields there because we still have a park in Bethesda that we're going to maintain. What this will allow us to do, Commissioners, is to put soccer fields in the south end of the county. And if you think about the growth in the south end of the county, we do not have a single soccer field to serve a population that is well over probably 40,000 people. If you are in the south end of the county and drive north on Saturdays and Sundays, it's just like Monday through Friday because everybody's driving to Downs Boulevard for their kids to play soccer. Being able to add those fields is not a great expense like building additional buildings or anything like that. Also, another feature of this 18 acres, there is a well that is on this property that has water capacity to irrigate the fields so that we'll be able to maintain safe, healthy fields. So I think this is an excellent purchase to accommodate the south end of the county, and we can turn this into a regional park.
Anything else, Commissioner?
Thank you.
Thank you, Gordon. Anything else? Commissioner Hester.
May I just briefly say that Bethesda is beautiful, but it's very hilly. This is flat property, and it's at a premium. Thank you.
Thank you. Anyone else? I see none. You ready to vote? This is on the amendment, the addition of the 18.5 acres, changing the dollar amount to $740,000. All right, we have the amendment up. All in favor of the amendment, press your yes button. Any opposed, press your no button. I think we're good. Anyone wishing to change their vote, do so now. Record the vote, please.
21 yes, 1 no.
The amendment passes. Now to the original resolution 1018-18 as amended. We have that up. All in favor of 1018-18 as amended, press your yes button. Any opposed, press your no button. Sorry. Looks like we're good. Anyone wishing to change their vote, do so now. Record the vote, please.
22 yes, 0 no.
Thank you. The resolution passes as amended. Next item is Resolution 1018-19, resolution from Animal Center Director, resolution of the governing body of Williamson County, Tennessee to implement a trap, neuter, and return policy for Williamson County Animal Control and Adoption Center. Commissioner Lothers?
Move for approval.
Proper motion. Commissioner Jones is second. Public Health Committee, what was that 5
5,
yes?
4, 0 against.
5 yes, 0 no. All right. Commissioner Lothers, explain.
Yeah, this authorizes our Williamson County Animal Control and Adoption Center to, I would say, modify, clarify, I don't want to use wrong wording here, but allowing feral and stray cats to be not held for a prescribed period of time or it's damaging to their health and their well-being. And so it allows them to properly treat the cat and tag it and so forth and release it back into nature, having been fixed. But there's also good policies in place so that any animal that appears to be a pet or anything will have this standard waiting period.
Thank you, Commissioner. Any questions, comments? I see none. Ready to vote? All in favor of Resolution 1018-19, press your yes button. Any opposed, press your no button. Looks like we're good. Anyone wishing to change your vote, do so at this time. Record the vote, please.
22 yes, 0 no.
Thank you. Is Director Johnson here? That would be you, Director Johnson.
That distracted me. It was his fault. I just wanted to let you guys know there's a benefit for the building of the new shelter happening in College Grove this weekend. It's at the Grove from 2 to 6, and specifically the organizer of the event asked me to invite the mayor and all the county commissioners. So I want to formally invite you all, and I hope you'll attend. And the mayor says that he will get in the dunking booth if the organizer of the event will get in. So you can all come buy a pass.
Thank you, Audra. Next item, 1018-24. Resolution authorizing the Williamson County Mayor to enter into an amendment to the interlocal agreement with the City of Franklin to add the Franklin Special School District as a party, to extend the term of the agreement, and to redistribute the half of the 1% of the 0.5% sales and use tax increase that is not otherwise allocated for schools. Commissioner Williams?
Motion to approve.
Proper motion, Commissioner Jones. The second. Education Committee?
4-0 again.
Budget?
4-0 against.
Commissioner Williams, you want to explain?
Yeah, I'll do my best. So basically, this resolution, it amends the original agreement concerning the education impact fee that we had with the City of Franklin and the allotment. To oversimplify it, it net benefits the county in the total proceeds that will come to the county. But it addresses some immediate needs for the FSSD. So,
thank you. Any question or comment? Commissioner Bethard.
If I'm reading it correctly, this is not pertaining to the education impact fee, but for the sales tax referendum. And this will give the increase that was voted on by the public, the appropriate portion of that, to the Franklin Special School District.
Thank you, Commissioner. Anything further? I see none. You ready to vote? All in favor of 1018-24, press your yes button. Any opposed, press no. Looks like we're good. Anyone wishing to change their vote, do so at this time. Record the vote, please.
22 yes, 0 no.
Thank you. Resolution passes. Next item, Resolution 1018-25. Resolution authorizing the Williamson County Mayor to enter into a contract with the Regional Transportation Authority concerning the provision of regional bus services. Mr. Williams.
Motion to approve.
Second.
Proper motion, Commissioner Osbrook, second. Thank you. Did this go to property?
3, 4, 1 against.
3 yes, 1 no. Budget?
4 yes, 0 no.
All right, thank you. Commissioner Williams?
This is a resolution that provides the parking lot for the regional bus service.
Any other question or comment? I see none. You ready to vote? All in favor of 1018-25, press your yes button. Opposed, press no. Well, there we go. Looks like we're good. Anyone wishing to change your vote, do so now. Record the vote, please.
20 yes, 2 no.
Thank you. Resolution passes. Next item, item 1018-26. Resolution authorizing the Williamson County Mayor to enter into a memorandum of understanding with the Williamson County Board of Education regarding the use of savings for payment of debt services realized by energy conservation projects. Commissioner Williams.
Motion to approve.
Proper motion, Commissioner Jones, second. Education Committee.
5-4-0 against.
Budget.
4-0 against.
What was, did Board of Education? Have they haven't seen this yet? Okay. We'll move on. Commissioner Williams, explain.
Yeah, this is a resolution that just commits the savings from any of the energy savings programs that we're committing to back to the payment of debt services.
Any question or comment? I see none. You ready to vote? If you're in favor of 101826, press your yes button. If you're opposed, press no. Looks like we're good. Anyone wishing to change their vote, do so at this time. All right, record the vote, please.
22 yes, 0 no.
Thank you. Resolution passes. That was the last resolution that I have.
All right, if you would just remind them to change the date on the calendar for November.
Yes, remember, change your date for your November meeting. Does anyone else have anything for the good of the commission?
Reminder of the pancake breakfast.
Pancake breakfast in the morning, 7 to 9. Personally cooked by Mayor Anderson.
If you'll let them know about Friday too.
Oh, okay. Also, on Friday, we'll have food trucks from 11 a.m. to 1 p.m., silent auction items, other games and activities. This coming Friday, the 12th, all to benefit United Way from the county. So please remember those activities in the morning and on Friday and come out. It'll be here, outside front. Anything else for the good of commission? Proper motion to adjourn and second. All in favor say aye. Aye. Any opposed? Thank you.
Good job.